What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. We've made it, y'all. We made it to the end. Part three of the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. I always come over here, my glasses be dirty and smudged up. It's embarrassing. Can y'all see that? One day I had a client like look at my glasses and be like, "You're not gonna cut my hair with those glasses." I know it is because they're in my hair most of the time. I can see far away. It's when I have to start reading things that get in the way. Normally, I try to have this done before I get over here. She rocking the curls today, y'all. I'm trying to I be wearing it in a ponytail all the time, which is probably my favorite because it's easy. Curls, it's a process. I'll put it that way. So, and if your process goes like baking. If you miss a step, then you messed up and you end up with your hair in a twisty. Anyway, we're not talking about my hair. Did I say like the video, y'all? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Go ahead. Hit that bell, hit that like button. Keep us in the algorithm. I'm gonna go ahead and say all the things everybody else be saying. Don't you can be in the bushes, but go ahead and hit the bell. You can ding dong ditch if you want to. Don't ditch. Stick around. But I'm just saying. Anyway, Real Housewives of Reunion, Part 3. We have made it to the end. Thank goodness. Shout out to Wendy and Stacy and even Angel for giving us something to talk about. I don't think that's like we talking about what she wanted us to talk about, but I mean she gave us something we got content via Angel over here. The people are out here voting and they said Angel can stay and Kierna can go. And when I say the people, I'm one of the people. I feel like Kierna brings nothing but a beautiful face. And that ain't enough. It's enough for a couple few seasons, and after that Giselle had a beautiful face. Now it's all crunched up. Is Giselle turning blacker? Why is Giselle and Wendy damn near the same complexion? I said up there, is Giselle in blackface the whole time? And I've seen Ashley do it too, show up places. Giselle and Ashley and Tia and Stay are not all the same complexion. Giselle want to be black this week. Anyway, her ponytail still don't match. Why she talking about people's wig? Y'all, Monique. Let's just start there. Start with Monique, and then we'll move right along. We'll talk about, did they bring anything to the table this season? Monique, did she bring anything to the table this season? No, she did not. She's all zen and peace and healed and did the work and things I don't want to hear this year. Do the work. I don't want to hear do the work. I don't want to hear who's soft. I don't want to hear about no soft girls or no soft boys. And I don't want to hear about people intentionally dating. That sounds stupid. I'm dating with intention. Well, what was you dating for before? I'm over here chasing butterflies and sparkly rings. Monique pulls out this receipt. Do I have a beep? I wonder if I have a beep. Monique pulls out this receipt and we hear nothing because there was nothing for us to hear. Ugh. I don't have a beep, but I have this. Because that's what she made me feel like when she was over there talking. I might have to refer back to that at some point. Anyway, one more time. Monique. She pulled out this receipt that wasn't receipting. So at some point, she recorded her child. This is like why people be, Monique, this makes you just as bad as Chris to some extent. When y'all decide to get divorces and y'all resort to recording the children and stuff, and you done brought it all the way over here to this platform. You were asking your child, I'm going to say daughter, you know what I'm saying? Because they referring to her as a she. So unless there's something else, we don't know about what's going on over there. It was the daughter. And I feel like boys don't particularly care about this type of thing, but girls be listening. You know what I'm saying? Girls just approach things different. I remember, well, she doesn't so much anymore, but when she was younger, my daughter would get in my boyfriend's car and, whenever somebody would call on that speakerphone, she would be like, who's that? You know what I mean? Girls just be very much involved in what's going on. So we had a whole, minute of beeping, which was stupid. And they were making faces. And so I'm like, so they making faces. And we don't know what they're hearing. But apparently The little girl heard her daddy say, Stacy, well, her daddy is a messy little thing trying to be all up in this business. And he wants to know what Monique is going to come over here and say about him. So I'm just a little bit on a lag, but we're going to keep going. Anyway, what was Monique over there saying about him? Chris got everybody's phone number with his messy ass. Cherie's phone number. We know Cookie is a hot ass mess. I'm wondering why any of these women engage with Cookie really. So anybody over here engaging with Cookie says everything I need to know. Following the beep, Andy asked Stacy, did you tell Chris that Monique was filming with her children? And Stacy, no. Of course. Why would I do that? I'm in the process of going through my own divorce. I've been through a divorce. I've dealt with custody issues. I only am concerned with my own family. Why would I do that to yours? Why would you? To me, I'm going to say it right now. I don't care if she did. I don't care if she did it. Stacy don't know Monique, not prior, till they got over here. Stacy was single at the time. Chris was single. And if it's me, because let's be real, if it's me and I'm dating this guy and now I've been introduced to his ex and it's gotten weird because we over here at our TV job and I'm not going nowhere. She wasn't working here before. I didn't come over here and follow her here. You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe she was out somewhere seeking Chris Samuels. I feel like it's Potomac and these people are very hung up on social situations. So they were in a social situation, Stacy and Chris. So if I'm dating this guy and I get in this situation where his ex comes over here, and what is my conversation going to be like? It's going to be like, well, that was interesting. Your wife came over here and she said she was not about to ever let you enter inside her again. And whatever else she said over there. So if Monique went and ran back to Chris and said that, I don't care because I probably would have done the same thing. And I think most of us would have. Whew. Them hot flashes be flashing. I got a fan. Hold on. Let me get my fan. Because, I ain't playing with y'all. While I get my fan, y'all go ahead, hit the like button. It's a little thumbs up button. It just lets me know that you're enjoying the content. If y'all ain't experienced hot flashes, God bless you. Because when they hit, child, we're going to keep it cute. Anyway. Stacy said she didn't do it. She said she'd been dealing with her own custody divorce. And why would I get in your business? And then the whole time, Stacy is talking. Kay keeps trying to intervene. Kay, this has nothing to do with you, girl. Shut up. When it's time for you to talk, you pulling out picture frames and stupid shit. So let this lady, nothing about what's going on. This conversation is between Monique and Stacy. And that's all that needs to be involved in this conversation. Ugh. Kay wants to tell about how... Oh, so Kay gets into, I'm reading my notes, try to see, where we're going here with this conversation. So Kay wants to tell the people when I left the event, Monique, first of all, you came over here, you poured your heart out to us, and I think it was so disrespectful for Stacy to go run back to this man and tell him what was said up here. And nobody said that happened. Miss, I'm going to run to the car and talk to Cookie. She ran to the car to talk to Cookie. Cookie was upset. For what? Why is Cookie upset? I feel like we're all women of a particular age. Some of these ladies over here is younger than me, and some of them is about the same age as me. I would say half. Okay? At least Giselle and Karen and... Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Kay was over here running her mouth with Cookie, and I know Cookie's ass is in her 50s, child. So what is you running around here like you in high school trying to, run up behind this man that, I think at this point, the way Cookie is out here doing her due diligence, Kristen broke her off a little something. Kristen give this lady a reason to be upset. And why are you upset with Stacy? Because she, because she went on a couple of dates with Chris? I can, girl. I'm not sure what your problem is, but I can if I want to. If he wanted you to be his girl, then you would be. But no, you don't like Monique. Cookie don't like nobody involved with Chris. She's trying to chase them all off. And Chris is using her for his bulldog purposes because Chris knows that she likes him. And I think most men out here do that. I don't know if I've said that before, but I feel like I won't say most, but a lot of men out here do that. Like I personally, anybody with common sense is not trying to deal with somebody that's kind of obsessed with them like that. But there are men and women out here, I suppose, who will use the person, because you can. So get your karma, child, because that's not nice. Anyway, um, Stacy said, Monique, we're talking about Cookie. I want you to be smart in this situation. Monique is not smart. I'm starting to realize, like, honestly, I never really paid attention before. And I ain't gonna lie, Candace was on my nerves with all that crying and stuff. So, maybe, getting whopped might have straightened her out a little bit. And, Monique, you whopped the wrong person because I like Candace a lot better now than I used to. And Monique, I was neither here nor there about really. And I'm about not her for real. This time, like around, I've made my decision. I don't need any more of it. Monique is so not smart. Stacy was like, why don't we just get Kristen? Let's all have a sit down with Kristen. We could talk about what it is. And then Monique is like, he won't be accountable. And then you can hear Jazzy in the background. I feel differently about Jazzy too. We'll get to her. But she was sleeping with him. Of course he's getting, she's probably still sleeping with this lady. Never said she slept with this man. And if she did, so the frick what? Like, y'all are so upset about this situation. I don't understand why. She ain't sleeping with Darius. But first baby mama might be, and whoever else Darius might be getting into over here off the bench. Child, I was talking to T, and she said, Darius is there to practice with. He's like, because I was like, I watch a lot of football. I've never seen him play. And she said he is there for the practice team. He is literally there to help the actual players practice. So, child, you ain't even official WAG. You WAG light. You assistant WAG. You come from a long line of assistant WAGs. Anyway, if Monique doesn't believe what Chris is saying, like it seems like under the influence of Ashley and the rest of these ladies, I'm saying Ashley because that's her friend. And Monique has a bad friend picker. She had one friend that she brought over here that portrayed her somehow or another. I think she was involved in that rumor that the baby ain't Chris's, or saying that she was dealing with the trainer. Might have been, could have been. Monique, maybe that's why you think it's a possibility, because you were sneaking around with somebody's husband. So you think that's what people do because that's what you did. Word on the street is Chris had a girlfriend when you met him too, and you weaved your way in there in front of Cookie. That's why she don't like you. We know it was a little girl, and we know it was her daughter because Ashley was over there sharing, what was said or who was on the phone. Ashley been out here trying to get as much attention wherever she can with her nothing storyline as well. The way they keep sitting on the sofa acting like, oh, Monique, you were just so vulnerable to open up to us. And Tia, it's like when you tell these stories, like you carry other women with you. Do you? I don't know. It's kind of like, I guess, depending on who it is, you might be like a little bit like on some girl, what happened? What happened over there? But I don't think that you're mostly invested in it. Anyway, Monique went over here on internet. We're all patiently waiting with bated breath to hear her come over here and explain what had happened. But she says it was a misunderstanding and a mistake. So Monique, RHOP's Monique Samuels says co-star Stacey Rush had nothing to do with any of that bullshit after she was accused of leaking information to Monique's ex. Really? After part 3 of season 10 reunion aired, Monique, who returned this season as a friend of the show after exiting at the end of season 5, hopped on Threads to clear the air, addressing claims that the co-star Stacey Rush was allegedly relaying information from filming back to her ex-husband. Chris Samuels, amid their ongoing legal battle, Monique admitted that her perspective was shifted. Wonder what shifted it. A little time has passed since the reunion was taped, she wrote, adding, I don't believe Stacey had anything to do with any of that BS. Throughout the season, And especially during the reunion, Stacy faced accusations from several of the RHOP ladies that she was feeding Chris details about what Monique said regarding their past relationship. She was also accused of telling him Monique was attempting to film scenes with their children. Was she? Stacy firmly denied all accusations. As of now, it's unclear what new information led to Monique publicly clear Stacy's name on all of it. Because she look a fool. That's why she wants to clear Stacy's name. Because she looks a full-on fool. And we do not believe it. Like I said, we don't care. We don't care. It's a non-thing. It's not a thing. So, like I said, we'll be waiting with bated breath for Monique to come on Instagram Live. She got to rewatch the show as if she wasn't sitting there. I don't think she need to rewatch anything. You need to keep your eye on Ashley. Is that what changed your mind? Ashley said up there talking about, I had talked to Chris. I had ran into Chris. Oh, I ain't told you, girl. Yeah. Those are the kind of friends she picks. I feel like Stacy may have gone out, and this is just logical and based on, what she was saying. Stacy may have gone out or, like she said, seen Chris Samuel socially. Sometimes you can call somebody and be like, I'm going to so-and-so. Are you going to be there? Yeah, I'm going to be there. Okay, well, I'll see you there. And now we're like managing to find some time to entertain each other without actually going on a date. These people be socialites over here. So Stacy then got back with her husband. And she could be like, TJ was not a thing, Timu. We just paid him to be on the show. So Timu is okay with that. Chris Samuel is not Timu. So I feel like Timu would probably not be cool with her. It's not the same. He gonna be over here trying to smash Stacy Rush. Anyway, Stacy got back with her husband, and then she stopped communicating with Chris. He texted her about that magazine cover, and she didn't respond. Not because of Monique, because I don't really give a damn about Monique sitting over there. It's because her husband Timu, she was like, she could be like, he texted me, I didn't say nothing back. And Chris responded with, you could have said thank you. So we know she didn't say nothing back. And Stacy backing off of Chris, I feel like put a damper on his plans because he absolutely planned to interfere with whatever was going on over here in Potomac. But, all y'all messy people's shit backfired in your face. And Detroit Stacy stands strong, lies and all. Because she be lying. We get to the Colorado trip. I don't need to discuss the Colorado trip anymore. To be honest, Angel effed up, but I think Angel is not fun. I hate the way she talks. The way she communicates is, first of all, intelligent people, you know what I'm saying, will be very clear on what you're saying. So unless you start saying things like mercurial, then we have to be like, let me go see what that means. But for the most part, it's just like this way she speaks in order to, I don't know, speak down on these people because they're not as intelligent as she is, or maybe like how Wendy came in the first season with the 4 degrees all the time. Angel is coming with her vocabulary and she's not fun to talk to because you need to have your thesaurus and stuff with you and be like, hold on for a second, let me see what that means, and other various words that relate. Anyway, I'm tired of talking about Colorado. We know what happened over there, but I tell you what, I sure get a kick out of them showing that picture of that house all the way to the top of that mountain. There's nothing but one house at the top of the mountain. It's no wonder they don't have water. They all the way up in the sky. And the air pressure things. Water can't get through the faucets. Y'all over here pumping and trying to hear the things screech. Anyway, Angel said, upon reflection, she would have definitely done things differently. I hope so. I hope she would have. Was Giselle overstepping? I mean, when isn't Giselle overstepping? I feel like she's always overstepping. So, this day is no different than any other. Kierna thinks so. Kierna was like, yeah, she's overstepping because one thing, this is her supposed to be friend, this is not giving friend. They was over there who Shamia and Drew was calling each other lapdog. It's giving lapdog, Angel. It's giving chin check your lapdog. Anyway, Kierna did not stay in the house without the water. You was over there at the luxurious acres with Angel and her lovely family. So you have nothing to say here, Kierna. Kierna keeps interjecting herself where, she has nothing to say, on the situation. Kierna, you were not there. If you were with your fancy prancy self, you would have been bitching about how you can't get your makeup off and stuff because there's no running water. Shut up. Then they bring out Karen. Andy asked Karen, I can't be more irritated with Karen. Andy asked Karen, about being called the Grand Dame. And she said, she tried to let it go. She tried to, go ahead and release herself from being the Grand Dame. But the people want her to be the Grand Dame. So she going to give the people what she want. Karen acts like this is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's not. You weren't here this season. You were in jail. When you got out of jail, you couldn't come, it was a wrap. It was over. They went down to the jailhouse and filmed you coming out, but you were not here this season. You were locked up. They didn't let you out. Locked up. They didn't let you out. They let you out early, That's whatever. Anyway, I ain't got no sympathy for Karen. I feel like I kind of don't like her now. Like I was okay with her. She was a Kiki before, but based on what she did and her, accountability for the whole situation, Karen could kick rocks for me. So, y'all will bring her back. And if you, bring her back, I intend to like nail her ass to the wall every time I talk about this show. She don't owe me no accountability, but I ain't got to like her behind it. Y'all want her to be the state of Grand Dame? I guess. Grand Dame is stupid. I don't know who came up with that. What's the name? Giselle probably. But then she tried to take it back every year. Everybody's sitting up there. They're so happy to see Karen. And, Karen, how long was she gone? Seems like she had a good time while she was in there with these stories she's telling. Giselle, what did Giselle say? Sorry, y'all. They are all fake. That's how I feel about it. All of them are fake. Monique is sitting up here. They smiling like, their Grand Dame has entered the room and they're so happy to see her here. Giselle said, I just told her I didn't want to film a reunion without her. I mean, I guess. This lady is sitting up here acting like she didn't do anything when, not just once, not just this time, but 4 other times in the past. This lady is notorious for taking out trees and wildlife on her way home from the crib with her Stella Rosa down to the passenger seat. And y'all sit up here like she didn't, want to hold Wendy's feet to the fire. But this one right here, oh, Karen, I was just so happy that you're, I guess. Karen's lying ass had the audacity to sit up here and start questioning Stacey about lying. Did you lie this season? There is no humility in this woman at all. And I'm not saying she needs to be a humble person, but she should be grateful that her ass is no longer locked up and she can still walk her happy ass out on the stage with a ball gown. Hell, she came in the building with a fur coat and an entourage of 9 people. Where was all those people there to do? You don't have Ray walk you around anymore? Ray's tired of your ass. Seems like they're tired of each other. All of these ladies lie. Giselle, because Karen brought it. What did I lie about? And Karen is like, well, the boyfriend. And I'm like, yeah, Giselle lied about the boyfriend. She had the young boy come over from summer house, winter house, whichever house they was over there on. We paraded him around for a minute and then he just disappeared. We didn't even talk about him anymore. That didn't work out. He wasn't at the reunion. He wasn't even there much for the season. Ashley lie every time her mouth is open. So, and I ain't really, she always lying. She kissed the boy. She didn't get to kiss the boy. She smashed the boy. She didn't smash the boy. She sneaks in Cherie's house or she didn't sneak in Cherie's house. Ashley stay lying. Andy said, when we had the talk, when I came over to see you, you seemed like you had a hard time admitting to being an alcoholic. And, isn't it part of the process, a part of the healing process for you to acknowledge, these things? And Karen stood on business. She was like, I'm not going to ever admit to being an alcoholic. That's not what it was. I'm healing. I'm a person in healing. And people, should, what did she say? What did she say, child? I got my notes all mixed up. I get in my mouth running, and then forget what I was gonna say. She said, oh, Giselle said Karen did something bad and served her time for it. So she's accountable. And I'm like, no, she isn't accountable. She's arrogant alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like she won't say alcoholic because she left the door open for her to be drinking when she comes back over here. She look a little tipsy now. Or does she pop a happy Eddie? You ask her. You asked Wendy, did she pop a happy Eddie? This Karen look like, her eyes is drooping. Maybe it's like the facelift. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the facelift is falling. I don't know. It's been 4 months. So, first of all, we don't even know if Karen has been sober for 4 months. We know she's been out of jail for 4 months. But let's just pretend that she's over there not drinking in that house of hers. I feel like 4 months would probably be where things start to get a little more difficult because you're living your life. Like, obviously, if you're for real, if you have actually detoxed yourself, I feel like that part might be, after 4 months, you start dealing with the issues that brought you to this place in the first place. So, we're not going to act like she served her time. She's doing the work. She's all better now. She's not. She may be even worse than she did before. And they're saying that she said she faced her addiction. You did not face your addiction. You wrapped your car around a tree, blew that thing up. You didn't go down there because you didn't go to rehab and any of those things because you were dealing or facing on your issues. You were forced to go there by the courts or in order to maybe not go to jail for as long as you did. And she went longer probably than she thought she was going to be because she was playing in these people's face. But she didn't have no choice. She's not brave. She's entitled. And I feel like this, them parading her around like this is probably making her worse. Yeah, because the way she showed up, like she's back. The bitch is back. The grand dame is back. And they're all uplifting her BS. They're all Monique over there crying. I didn't say nothing because I knew I was gonna cry. Why? What are you crying about? Karen ain't crying. You know that lady tipsy, Monique, but Monique is slow. Like, maybe I'm slow because I'm seeing, it's definitely revealing itself now if it hadn't before. We thought she would just talk a lot. She just be rambling and rambling, but she ain't saying nothing. Her crying is getting on my nerves, talking about she did the work. Here we go with that do the work thing. She ain't did no work. The work is just starting. And now she's like back in this platform. So the pressure is really going to be on, having all eyes on her. She still keep trying to pick her face up to the ceiling. Looking droopy in the face. What they serving back there in them dressing rooms? Karen is mad at Wendy for Wendy being mad at Karen for Karen talking behind Wendy's back. That's the gist of it. Wendy is talking about witches when Wendy really should have been saying, you were talking about my behind my back to Stacy. You know what I'm saying? And she did bring that up. But the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, Karen and Wendy were not friends. Karen and Wendy were allies because they both needed an ally. Wendy probably fell into believing that Karen, like, now that she knows me a little better and sees that I'm not pretentious and all those things that she called me, and Wendy might be pretentious. She's sitting up there, facing charges with a smile on her face. So we don't know. Speaking of charges, I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, Karen didn't need Wendy anymore, so she turned on her. That's pretty much how that is. Now she over here. Robin is gone, like all the tides were turning. Robin is gone. Now she's besties with Giselle, and she don't have to be friends with you anymore. Stacy came over here rising right in front of their face. And this is the thing. I think they misunderstood Spacey Stacy. Spacey Stacy is acting Spacey maybe a little bit, but that's Detroit Stacy. And Detroit Stacy says things like toodaloo and have y'all confused. Toodaloo. Yeah, but that's Detroit Stacy. So they I think they misunderstood what was gonna happen there, because still she rides. They've been coming for her a whole season, and still she rides. And I don't get into who's I'm fans of and that kind of thing. I don't think I'm fans of anybody. I like them sometimes, and then I might not like them the next time, So it just depends on the day. One thing is for sure, I ain't gonna like Giselle. I don't care which day it is. Yeah, they were never friends. Karen sat upstairs, said, "I love when your mama told you to shut the fuck up." Even Giselle was like, Karen. That, is a testimony to the type of person she is. So, that doesn't give like rehabilitation. It gives, I'm still a bitch, and I still feel like I could talk to people. I'm the grand dame. I'm over all y'all. You over all them, but not Angel, because she has a bigger vocabulary and she'll be good to spar with you. And you ain't gonna know what she's saying. And Angel, what is you smiling about? You don't even know Karen like that. And she's Giselle's friend. Best believe if Karen was here, she would have went in on your catfish ass just the same as the rest of them did. You can't trust these people over here. Andy was asking them all, like, what they thought about Wendy's situation. And Angel was like, she's a red herring. What are you talking about? She had all these things going on, and she used me as the red herring, as a distraction. I don't remember Wendy really giving a shit about you. Here we go again with that. That was Giselle the whole time, like coming for you with that bullshit. And then if Wendy is a red herring, then what is Giselle? A big mouth blowfish? She looked bloated right here. I don't know what Angel be talking about. And Angel, but you have never been the focus of Wendy's thoughts, not once. Nobody over here was thinking about you, not even your friend. And you start talking, and it's like, we don't even know what she's talking about. What did she say? Mercurial. Who is she talking about? Yeah, Wendy was never coming for Angel. That was all in Angel's head. She, I feel like, is delusional too, to some extent, because she had this issue with Wendy that didn't exist. Giselle, brought up how Wendy said that she didn't pay for anything. She didn't know how to pay for anything. She doesn't know the mortgage company. And so that's what she thought about when the whole story with Eddie came out. And then this came out this afternoon. I thought that too, to some extent. I was like, are we getting ready to, because if Eddie is going to take the fall, Eddie should just take the fall. Let Wendy stay there with them kids, because she's still, she's on the show. She's, out of the two of them, the one that can probably keep the family afloat while he, goes locked up. RHOP Wendy and her husband Eddie attend their court hearing. The two will no longer be tied together, according to source who attended their status hearing. That's homegirl from I can never remember her name. But it's What Is Going On podcast. So Wendy and Eddie, she be down to the courthouse. And her name is not Tiana. Taria, I think that's her name. Wendy and Eddie will no longer be tied together. Eddie waived his rights to a speedy trial, being tied within being a child. Let me start again. Eddie waived his rights to a speedy trial, being tried within 180 days of being charged. There was extensive discovery, and he wants to take a deeper dive per the prosecution. Wendy wants a trial. It says once, like one time. Wendy wants a trial seemingly immediately. She did not waive her rights to a speedy trial. The defense and prosecution were looking for dates in March. However, there were none available for a jury trial. This makes me wonder if this was a setup for Eddie to take the fall. That's what I think. Oh, this is written so weird. Wendy, she was maybe she must have been talking in her to her, thing. But girl, you have to proofread before you post these things up. Wendy says she will not be able to have a trial as quickly as she wanted. The original trial date for her would have been April 15th, 2026. Due to the trial schedule, it unfortunately will have to be pushed back out until May. She is willing to go to trial before her status conference. I mean, well, May ain't that far off, child. She gonna be going in, and Puffy gonna be coming out. These are estimating. They are estimating that Wendy's trial and Eddie's trial will each run for days, with one day for the defense. Again, that is concurrent. I don't know what that means. I mean, I feel like maybe it's best that we don't try together because, like I said, if she is gonna be able to go ahead and be with her children. Well, at the end of the day, it's $25,000. I'm hoping they could get a plea deal. You know what I'm saying? People have done worse, far worse. So, like, drive around in their car under the influence with their Stila Rosa in the passenger seat, wrapping their car around trees and, calling themselves a concubine. I'm not sure, where that came from, but Wendy ain't do all that. She is talking too much, though. I just really wanted her to stop talking, stop giving them so much. She handled herself with a lot of poise, but I just don't want any of this to come back to bite her in the ass. It was just, to me, smarter for her to not say anything. Andy keep asking questions, and, she's handling herself well, but the questions was pissing me off, and then he asking them what they think, and they're giving their 2 cents, and who was making me nervous. And after the interrogation and the opinions from the peanut gallery, Karen and Monique got the boot. He told them they could go. At some point, it's funny, they booted Jessie out. He told her she can giddy up out of there. Jazzy wasn't bringing nothing to the table, and that's why she's all the way back there, out of the way. She just want to argue with Stacy and Tia, and who also brought nothing for me. Tia sat there, and she sounds real cute, and her dress is ugly, but her face looks good. And what did Tia bring this season? Seriously. We did see, she brought her own family stuff, so she was giving her real life, but I don't care. And I'm like, to be honest, putting a lot of pressure on a first-time housewife, but if you ask me, they could have made her a friend of and went ahead and let Jazzy be a housewife, because Jazzy is very amped up and turned up, and she gonna keep it messy, and that's the stuff, we like it. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say y'all. I'm involved too, because if there's nothing there, I don't need to see them, pulling each other weaves out. Now, Jazzy doing too much going after Stacy, but whatever's happening between Jazzy and Karen, we don't know, because clearly they used to be friends. Competing for the job. That's it. And I think Jazzy is not about to be chin checked by Karen. And those are the kind of friends she keep around. Anyway, she was out. Now Karen and Monique can go in that damn triangle dress looking a damn fool. Eddie came out. They, broke for a minute. Eddie came out to check on Wendy, to ask her if she was okay. And I was like, they still holding each other down. Thank goodness he wasn't on the stage this time, but he did just come make sure to check on her, because I was asking her all those questions about the case. They resumed to wrap things up. This is funny because Giselle didn't get a package. So everyone on this couch between episode 1 to 3 had a moment to discuss their, proportion of the season. Even though Ashley wasn't bringing nothing to the season, she brought a children's book that we never heard of. She got a package. Everybody been talking about Ashley can go, but Ashley did get a package. Maybe that was her last package, but Giselle did not get one. What were we going to discuss as far as Giselle's package? Like, she literally did nothing but be mean to Stacy. She brought nothing. Giselle sits up there with that stank face, looking a little puffy, bags around the eyes. She carried her stress. What is she stressed out about? Is she stressed out because that white lady got her daddy's, money? The civil rights activist. Yeah, there was nothing for us to discuss as far as Giselle is concerned. Andy wants to know everybody's final thoughts. Angel says she can be zen without skipping over the things that bother her. Well, good girl. And when you go to sleep at night, don't change your mind. When you address the things that are bothering you, stand on business. Don't come back the next day and say, I changed my mind. I think I'm still mad. Tia says she can be naive and she wants to be more mindful of the things she says. Cool. Um, yeah. Kay wants to put herself in someone else's shoes. I feel like we have a lot more in common than we're saying we do. And maybe I can learn to put myself in someone else's shoes. Put your shoes out the door, girl. Go. We don't want it. I'm speaking for myself. A lot of people don't. There's some people that are out here. I want to see Kierna over here because she's gorgeous, and that's enough reason for her to be here. Okay. Well, then, if that's the case, you should bring back Monique and her buzzer thing. Giselle makes up her own package because she didn't get one. Did she not realize? She didn't realize because Andy came back and said, let's wrap things up. Maybe she thought she was going to be the grand finale, but she said one of her daughters is AKA Incorporated. Okay. That's not had nothing to do with you. That means the young lady went through the process and the legacy goes on, but we didn't see any of it. Could we go down to the college? That wasn't part of the show. She's dating out here. This time she's dating with intention. Imagine that. Wonder what the new catchphrase is going to be this week. I'm going to wear y'all out with it. She says she often has the problem, accepting the dynamics of new people and things. So she's going to work on that. That's what she's going to work on. She's going to work on being more, what do you call it? Agreeable, not necessarily agreeable. Anyway, she's going to try to be nicer, I guess, to the new people, to the long and the short of it. Stacy says she ain't changing nothing. I want to just keep being exactly who I am. I know that's right, Stacy. She said in the future, she gonna stop beating around the bush, get straight to the point because she feels like that's what's the reason why people are misunderstanding her. Okay, Stacy, I hope so. I hope it's the bush that you stop beating around and just get straight to it. You know what it is. Angie done warned you. The people will turn on you, so don't let that happen. And Wendy wants to lead with kindness. I'm going to let you have that, Wendy, because you have too much going on and you can't really say what the future holds for you. So that's how that ended. Who would you have back? I would say, Giselle ain't going nowhere. I'm tired of arguing that point. She's not going. We want Wendy back. Tia, she could come back, but, Tia needs to forge relationships with people that are not just Giselle. I want them to stop being just team Giselle all the time. Karen will be back, I guess, child. Y'all wanted it, and I hope her and Giselle are not allies. I hope to see, how the tides will turn when the Grand Dame comes back to claim her space. Wendy, of course, if she can be back, we can have her back. Stacy, yes, have her back. Karen, I don't need it. I would be interested to see how Angel can manage without Kierna. Because, Miss Chincheck got in the way of her, I think. She'll sit up here and say in, 13, 45, 47 letter words that, that's not what was happening. But we see that's what was happening. So if you, stop looking at Giselle as your big sister, yeah, and forge real relationships. Ashley did say that, and as much as I can't stand Ashley, I didn't see her do that. You hide behind Kierna. Jazzy can stay a friend. We don't need her full time. Her man ain't even a real NFL player. He played for the team, but only at practice time. Ashley can go. I've been saying Ashley can go. I've never liked Ashley from, the very beginning. I hate the way she code switches. I don't like how she be calling people hoes and things and thinking that she, don't deserve to get slapped in her mouth. I don't care who she's dating. And so, yeah, if y'all gonna keep her around, I guess. Monique, I don't even need her to be a friend. Now, y'all, will probably bring her back because, maybe that's why she's out here tiptoeing and, dancing around the internet trying to clear things up. That's it, y'all. Season three. Episode 3 of the reunion. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. I don't know when these ladies will go back to filming, but on to the next thing. So, what did we cover this week? I'll get to Married to Medicine tomorrow. So, aside from that, y'all don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.